information. 30% daw ang cost ng construction goes to ease of doing business. Pwede nyo interviewin si professor na nag-prepare na, pero in private daw. Kasi mga contractors ayaw ma-identify po. So kung 30% goes to ease of doing business, 70% lang napupunta sa construction materials. Kaya po, dapat yung mga nakakaalam yan, maybe witness protection program, magsalita yung mga contractors bago million sa mamamatay. 40% of residential buildings will collapse. That's 2004 data ng Myers report. Tall buildings, only 2%. Kasi yung tall buildings, like ginawa namin mga tall buildings, like 5 buildings ng Rockwell, yung Asian Development Bank, the latest, we use performance-based standards, structural engineering standards, meaning higher than the requirements of our building code, structural code. All the buildings we design in the Philippines, at least 10% more than the requirements of the building code. Kasi isa dyan, yung ease of doing business, baka napunta walang resibo, yung cost na yan, number one. Number two, incompetence. Number three, lack of monitoring, and so on. Elsewhere in the world po, yung experience now in 40 countries, retrofitting an old building, you retrofit 8 buildings is equivalent to construction of 1 new building. During the Duterte administration, I wrote to past presidents 145 recommendations to address the 18 kinds of hazards before they become disasters. And the Duterte administration, they hired us by competition, the Comprehensive Master Plan for National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Training Institute to be built in New Clark City. Public Works now has announced the bidding. I hope the bidding will be very transparent. And kasi disaster preparedness, it should be the last buildings standing. And all the buildings, according to our structural engineers, that were built before 1992, wala pang requirement na seismic analysis. So before 1992, itong building na po. Tapos maraming building owners pumupunta sa akin. Yung mga buildings daw nila, nag-survive many earthquakes. Hindi po, we're not assured of that po. Parang if you have a paper clip, you bend it once, hindi mapuputol. You bend it several times, mapuputol po. Kaya siguro, the structural engineers here can make the recommendations. At saka hindi lang structural. Architectural, interior design, structural, mechanical, electrical, plumbing, and fire protection. Hindi lang ho isang code. Dapat lahat ng code. I feel many of them are obsolete. Like you can build 100-story building here. Ang requirement lang, 1 meter in between. Fellow po ako ng and regional leader ng Council for Tall Buildings and Urban Habitat, headquartered in Chicago. Kami po nagsa-certify ng tallest buildings in the world. Kaya question sa Council for Tall Buildings and Urban Habitat, yung building code natin, maski 100-story building ka, 1 meter lang ang ano. So mag-uumpugan yan. And what they call it is panding. Hindi lang 1 meter, iba magkakadikit. Allowed ng building code natin, which is very dangerous.
So marami pong buildings dito sa atin na magkakadikit na ganyan?
Marami po.
Marami?
Marami po. Pati the recent tall buildings, 1 meter apart lang. Kaya yung dinesign namin I'm architect of record for the first 5 towers of Blackwell, 30 meters apart. Pero mga succeeding buildings, hindi na ako arkitekto noon, mas shorter distances.
Wow.
Opo. Kaya pumunta kayo sa Central Business District.
So we really need to amend our building code?
Kailangan po. At hanggang 8 intensity lang eh. Magnitude is where the epicenter is. Intensity is location ng buildings. Kaya ano po, we need number one, all the audits, architectural, interior, structural, mechanical, electrical, planning, and fire protection. Just like what Senator Tulfo said, around 18,000 would get killed before the fire. And thousands of kilometers of electric wires, communications wire will all disconnected. And first responders, they will come after 72 hours because they will take care of their families and loved ones first. Metro Manila, if I remember it right, the Myers report, will divide into 4. North and south of Pasig River, east and west of the West Valley Fault Line, and the reclamation area. Magdi-divide po rin. And 7 bridges will collapse. That's a 2004 study. So I've been giving forward recommendations, suggestions, observation for 30 years already. Yung Myers report ng JICA quantified our observations recommendation. Maraming salamat po.